So telling your family's story on film, what led you to want to do that?
It was Luke's idea initially. We're in a band together for King Country, and he had been sharing as part of kind of a child sponsorship pitch, our family story. And people come and say, hey, it's such a moving, miraculous story. You should write a book about it. And his joke, not mine, is that we were homeschooled, so we don't read and write very well. And so, shout out to the homeschoolers. And was like, so we won't do a book, but we'll make a movie. And so in 2020, he called a producer friend and said, hey, we've got this idea. And that we were kind of off to the races. We spent 2 years on the screenplay. Richard Ramsey and I co-wrote it, and then went into production in 2022. And man, it has, speaking of multiverse, Marvel's got the multiverse. This has been our own little Smallbone multiverse moment for sure.
Did you know you were always going to be in the film playing your dad? Was that always part of the plan?
I had always had it in my mind. I was actually probably more keen to play dad than I was to be involved on the other side of the camera. The co-directing actually more so came out of necessity. Our brother Ben, who's a director, was on another project at the time, and we just couldn't work the schedules out. And so I ended up stepping in to co-direct. So yeah, the short answer is yes. I just thought the idea, Shia LaBeouf had done it in Honey Boy with his dad, and I thought this idea of a son sort of making a film about his father, or obviously Steven Spielberg did it with Fablesmans. It just felt like it's just really novel. So yes, the short answer is yes.
What were some of the challenges of playing your dad in a way that made him happy with the portrayal?
Well, the challenges started before the screen, because it was the screenplay. I was so frightened for them to read it because it's a very true story. It's not even.
It's raw. It's
real.
Very
raw.
Yeah.
And we wanted it to be an honor project, but not a glory project. And there's a big difference. Like, we're not trying to glorify them. We're trying to honor the hardship. And from Dad's perspective, honor the humbling, the pride, and everything in between. And so I actually found it very liberating playing him. It gave me an empathy for my dad that I think you could put a stake in the ground and say, writing this film, playing him, particularly in the film, gave me an empathy that I'll take with me for the rest of my life.
Mm. When you reflect on your family's story, and I don't want to spoil all of it, but it's a really incredible story of coming to this country, really working up from nothing, and then looking at where you are now. What does it show you, that trajectory about God and who he is?
I was reading a sort of meditation this morning, and it was just basically talking about how, as Christians, we so love the ascent of faith, right? But we want to skip the reality that if you don't actually have hardship and loss and sacrifice, you don't understand the ascent. And I feel like in this day and age, we see so many people, at points myself included, ascend but not engage with hardship at the same time, and you lose yourself in it. I think that's the gain the world and lose your soul.
Sure.
But this backdrop of loss and hardship, of migrating and raking leaves and mowing lawns and
cleaning houses
and touring with Rebecca. Dad needed a cheap road crew, and becoming the road crew. It gave me something, and Luke something, and the whole family something, that I think in the ascent, this sort of preposterous pinch yourself moment where you look around and go, hang on, we're making feature-length films. Or, hang on, we get to perform in arenas and stadiums. It gives you this grounding of going, this is, this is bigger than us. B, it's not even really about us. This is about the bigger story of family, the bigger story of faith, the bigger story of overcoming, the bigger story of fighting for each other instead of against each other. And so you cannot take, if you took my heritage out of the ascension, I'm afraid I'd be a very different chap. I'm very grateful for it. I really am.
What have you learned through fame? I mean, what have been the biggest, I know it's a loaded question, but obviously the fame that comes with For King and Country, a film like this, what has that journey been like for you?
Look, on one level, I'm really grateful for the moniker for King and Country, because it actually allows you to hide out a little bit. I feel sorry in some ways, like Taylor Swift, magnificent, right? Justin Bieber, Dwayne Johnson, all these sort of people, but they can't hide behind anything. So I think having a conversation with them is a whole other level. For me, it's just kind of, it's charming. Like you walk through an airport and you get a really kind, like, hey, love your music. Like there's no hoopla. It's just, it's the right balance. And I've always been around it because Dad was a concert promoter in Australia.
Sure.
So he would always bring Stryper and Amy Grant people to Australia. So I saw it. It was very close to it. And then with Rebecca, I was her background vocalist. So I got to literally step one step closer to it and watch everyone watch her literally from behind her. So I had that POV. And then sort of stepping in with Luke, I'm still sort of sharing this weird thing that is celebrity or fame or popularity, whatever you want to call it. So I don't know if I have quite the answer other than I'm grateful for the opportunity. And I'm also, again, very aware and walking through with my family that, hey, this is a moment, man.
Yeah.
This is a moment in time.
Yeah. And how unique that you get to share it through this film with audiences. At the end of the day, when all is said and done, what do you hope for the impact of the film?
There's a great quote at the end of the film, a paraphrase from Mother Teresa, says, if you want to change the world, go home and love your family. And this is a very family-forward film. This is also a film about mums. It's a film about daughters. I love that it's woman-forward as well. I hope, and we're already seeing it at some level with these screenings, that men are walking away weeping, going like, I want to be a better bloke, Mums are inspired, wanting to take their kids to the playground,
That's a great scene in the film.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I was terrified of it. That's it for another conversation. I felt it was too sort of kitschy or something. But anyway,
It was good.
And then daughters are seeing themselves in Rebecca's journey of trying to discover what does it mean to be called to something and have purpose and become a woman. And so, I hope families come to the theaters. I hope families are moved in different ways, and so much so that I've dubbed the release day, April 26th, Family Day. You got Mother's Day, you got Father's Day. We should have a Family Day, right? So
I like it.
April 26th is Family Day. It's also, the release day is our parents' 49th wedding anniversary.
Wow.
So a lot of little
What a nice gift to them.
I know. Lionsgate picked the date. Literally, man, this is a tangent, but Lionsgate picked that date and I didn't even clock it. And I called Mum a week later and I was like, I said, hey, they picked the date, it's April 26th. She goes, oh, that's our 49th wedding anniversary. And I was like,
That's how you know God's in it.
yeah. Well, I did the math because a Friday only falls on the 26th of April every 7 years. So the homeschooler math is it's 2,555 to 1 chance.
Wow, you really did the math
I
on
did the
this.
math.
That's incredible.
My iPhone did the math.
Your iPhone did the math.
Yeah.
That is incredible. Well, I appreciate you joining us, talking about this. Really a phenomenal film.
Thanks, man. Thank you for taking the time
Thank
to
you.
watch it.